A wave of pro-Palestinian protests that started at New York's Columbia University on April 17 in no time spread to campuses across the United States of America. Students took to the streets, in some cases even facing off with the police. Arrests, suspensions, and massive police crackdown shifted the world's attention to campuses torn by the conflict in Gaza and Biden government's handling of the demonstrations. What's actually happening on the campuses? Where did it all begin? And what's behind the backlash to the protests? We get to the bottom of it. On April 17, Columbia University President Nimad Shafiq testified before US Congress over the university's response to alleged anti-Semitism. She said,
"We do not and will not tolerate anti-Semitic threats, images, and other violations. We've enforced and we will continue to enforce our policies against such actions. This is the highest priority right now at Columbia, and I believe we are moving in the right direction."
The same day, dozens of students began Gaza Solidarity encampment on the campus. Their rallying cry: universities must divest from companies linked to Israel, divest from businesses that are profiting off Israel's war with Hamas, stop accepting research money from Israel for projects that help its military efforts, sever academic ties with Israeli universities, disclose their investments, be transparent about funds being received from Israel and what it is being used for, and support a ceasefire in Gaza. The demands are rooted in the decades-old boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement that aims to end international support for Israel's oppression of Palestinians. On April 18, Shafiq authorized police intervention to quell the protests. New York Police Department arrested at least 108 demonstrators and removed encampments. But the move immediately backfired, drawing solidarity protests from New York University, Yale University, University of Illinois, University of California, University of Berkeley, among others. Currently, Columbia is in the process of negotiating with students despite several failed attempts. College officials said that they honor the right to protest, but also voiced concerns over Jewish students feeling targeted. University of Texas said in a statement that it will not tolerate disruption. Amid a tense standoff between the students and the police troopers and riot gears, over 100 people have been arrested at the University of Texas. Roiled by protests and with over 90 arrests so far, University of Southern California has cancelled its graduation ceremony and a commencement speech by the school's pro-Palestine valedictorian. With encampments popping up despite warnings, Harvard University limited the access to those with school identification and suspended the undergraduate Palestine Solidarity Committee. Over 100 were taken into custody after protests flared up in New York University. More than 40 students were arrested amid protests throughout the week at Yale. At Emerson College too, at least 100 people were arrested at an encampment. The pro-Palestine protests have posed a challenge for US President Joe Biden, who has said that blatant anti-Semitism has no place on college campuses.
I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the protests horrific.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific. Anti-Semitic mobs have taken over leading universities. They call for the annihilation of Israel. They attack Jewish students. They attack Jewish faculty. This is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s. It's unconscionable. It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned, and condemned unequivocally.
हम क्या चाहते और हम क्या चाहते
Many Indian students have joined the encampment protests at university in solidarity with Palestine. Azadi chants by Indian students were heard on campus. At Princeton University, Indian origin student Achintya Shivalingam was arrested during protests on April 25th. The Ministry of External Affairs took a dig at the US in a weekly presser saying,
in every democracy, there has to be the right balance between freedom of expression, sense of responsibility and public safety and order. Democracies in particular should display this understanding in regard to other fellow democracies. After all, we are all judged by what we do at home and not what we say abroad.